The related literature examines facts and principles from other sources that are related to the present study. That is, a research study on the learning curves of high school students would utilize literatures that deal the same subject. These resource materials include books, encyclopedias, published journals, newspapers, and magazines. The related literature, which is also called conceptual literature, serves to clarify the different variables being studied. It removes any vagueness surrounding the central concepts of the research.
Essential elements of a literature review. The literature review serves as in-depth summary of the related literatures to the study. It does not only restate facts but rather critique and highlight their relevance to the research. In doing so, several elements should be observed in writing this session. Number 1. Overview of the subject or topic, issues or theories to be considered. Number 2. Division of words such as those that support a particular position, those against, and those that offer other ideas. Number 3. Explanation of the comparison of gathered literature. Number 4. Conclusion and the best arguments.
Since a literature review serves to preface the purpose of the study, the related literature cannot be evaluated without setting of the foundation for the review. A literature review, therefore, follows the systematic approach in writing its content. The premise of its review should be clarified, and the relation of the cited resources materials to the study should be established. Thus, different stages are observed when writing the literature review. Number 1. Problem formulation. The researcher must determine the research problem before the review of the literature is conducted to fully understand the variables considered in the study. Number 2. Literature search. Any reading material that is related to the study must include a discussion and explanation of at least one of the variables. Number 3. Data evaluation. The indicators that are synthesized from various relevant sources must further build the researcher's confidence as the variable of his or her study are made clear. Number 4. Analysis and interpretation. Breaking the entire reading article into smaller parts will help the researcher correctly interpret the information in reviewing materials.
Format of a literature review. In writing the literature review, the researcher can be flexible in utilizing different related literature. However, as stated earlier, the literature review is not merely a restatement of facts. Thus, the organization of thought should be duly considered when writing the review. These are the general formats of the literature review is as follows. First, the introduction. It comprises these. Letter A. The general problem and the variables should be defined. B. Every important data should be highlighted to effectively discuss the problem or the variables, such as the theory, methodology, evidences, conclusions, or even gaps. C. The criteria in selecting the literature should be considered to assess which resources are pertinent and should be included and which are irrelevant and should be removed. Second, the body. It comprises these. A. Chosen approaches, conclusion of authors, specific objective, and the like should be included. B. The studies and the literature should be summarized. For the studies, primary consideration must be given to the result of the studies that includes the variables. So in choosing this literature, the following should be considered. Provenance, objectivity, persuasiveness, value. And lastly, the conclusion. It comprises these. A. Major contributions of the studies or articles should be summarized. B. Current developments and new information should be evaluated. C. The review should be concluded by relating the gathered data to the central theme or problem.
Practical tips in writing the literature review. Now that the technical aspects are laid out, one should have a better understanding of the purpose of the literature review in research paper. Since it prefaces the entire study, the researchers should observe meticulous writing of each section of the paper. After all, a well-written literature review can help readers to easily grasp the actual content. The following are helpful tips in writing the review. Sources, scholarly works, references, and other materials that are referred and indexed should to be used. Electronic sources should be properly scrutinized since the contained information are sometimes inaccurate or erroneous. Each source should be selected based on its contribution to the topic under review. The relationship of one source to another should be described.
Interpretation should be done appropriately by looking into gaps of previous research. Conflicts or contradictions should be resolved. Areas of prior scholarship should be identified. One's original work should be placed in the context of existing literature.
The related literature serves to clarify the different variables being studied and the essential concepts of the research study. Through a review of literature, the major variables of the study, sub-variables, and indicators are defined and clarified. A literature review is a specific type of research paper that focuses on published literature on a given topic. It serves as the initial step in doing research. The stages involved in writing the literature are problem formulation, literature search, data evaluation, analysis, and interpretation. The common format in writing the literature review includes an introduction, a body, and a conclusion. The following tips can be followed in literature review. Choose referred sources and check electronic sources. Select sources based on their contribution. Describe relationships among sources. And identify areas of prior scholarship.